Next on F4 U.S. Championship today, it's time to crown our first champion in South Florida. Highlights of championship weekend ahead. Another F4 contender with a shot at racing in Europe, a step to stardom. And there's no more critical piece on a race car than tires. The F4 U.S. Championship rides on some great ones. All next on F4 U.S. Championship today. It's the F4 United States Championship powered by Honda. Today, coverage of the season finale at Homestead-Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida, the championship weekend. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us on F4 U.S. Championship today. This is the 5th weekend of racing. We're coming to you today from On-Roke Automotive North America. Used to be called Crawford Composites. This is the place where the F4 race cars are built. The season championship weekend at Homestead-Miami Speedway, wrapping up the first ever year of racing in this competitive new series. Before we get started, let's have a look at the race cars themselves. They're purpose-built single-seat race cars, lightweight and state-of-the-art. They carry a Honda motor that's sealed. It makes about 160 horsepower. They ride, of course, on Pirelli racing tires. At Homestead, slicks were the order of the day because there was no rain in sight. It's been a very competitive first season of racing. It started back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course early in the summer. A young driver from Loxahatchee, Florida, by way of Poland, Konrad Čaček, was the early season dominator. He drives for Leading Edge Grand Prix. Čaček won all 3 races on the first weekend of the season. Things were quite a bit different, though, on the second weekend when the series came back to Mid-Ohio in the month of August. Čaček started the first race, had problems, and he would have to sit out the balance of the weekend. That opened the door for some different names to rise to the top. We had victories for Skylar Robinson, Kyle Kirkwood. James Goffrey Jr. broke through as well in the third weekend of action at New Jersey Motorsports Park. But since then, it's been all Cameron Doss, the youngster from suburban Baltimore, Maryland, driving his Zero Chroma JDX Racing Crawford machine, dominated from that point on. Coming into this championship weekend, Cameron Doss has been on a roll. He's won 6 of the last 7 races. He swept the last weekend of racing at Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia, and suburban Atlanta. He comes into Homestead-Miami Speedway as the championship leader, seeing if he can add to that record of winning consecutive events. Let's find out what his prospects are for the weekend. Shay Adam has our coverage on Pit Road.
I'm here with the man of the hour, Cameron Doss. Cameron comes into this weekend with the U.S. F4 points lead. Cameron, what happened that race in New Jersey? Because since then you've been doing nothing but winning.
Well, after that, I just really hit the sim hard, and, I've just been practicing on Homestead a lot. I did some New Jersey before that race as well, but that just basically gives me an advantage coming into the weekend, and it makes me really comfortable going into it, even not having been there.
Well, and you come into this weekend with a decent points lead over your competition. Are you playing the points game, going off a strategy, or still going for the win?
Oh, I'm always going to be going for the win, but if it's too risky to go for it in, a certain situation, then obviously I'm going to, go for the points game because I could lose it all in a race or two if I'm not careful.
Well, he certainly does need to be careful. If Doss were to have problems this weekend, and Konrad Čaček, for example, could sweep all 3 races as he did at Mid-Ohio in the opener, there could be a very tight battle for the championship. Our drivers are set to go out for race number 1. Before we get started, let's check back in with Shay Adam.
Starting 1st, 3rd, and 5th for today's race are our top 3 in the championship, but it's not that end of the grid that we're worried about right now. It's the other end. Making his series debut in the number 51 is Alan Miller, and starting right next to him in the number 1 is Brian Fowler. Brian runs under a Canadian flag, but lists his home as being in Florida. Now, both of these guys, very much aware that there is a championship at stake, requested that they start from the back of the grid.
Everyone knew Doss was the driver to beat. Doss again out-qualifying the field, this time by more than 0.3 of a second. When race 1 went green, though, New Jersey winner James Goffrey Jr., who lined up second, got around Doss on the outside to take the top spot. Skylar Robinson in the Momentum Motorsports 2 car, who started 6th, also got a great start, jumping by Doss into second. With Konrad Čaček in the 47 car, now out of Global Racing Group, moving to 3rd, 3 wide down the front stretch, fighting for the lead early, before Čaček, who swept the year's first weekend at Mid-Ohio, emerged on top. The championship leader had fallen back to 4th. Soon, though, he moved by Goffrey's 11 car on the inside for 3rd. Doss would then get rolling down the back straightaway and go on the outside of Skylar Robinson to take back 2nd spot, before making an outside move on Čaček right here down the front straightaway. Goffrey's bid to win his second race of the season in his home state, falling victim to a gearbox problem as he entered the backstretch. But the veteran solved his issues quickly and got back up to speed. Goffrey putting on a great show in race 1, passing his teammate Kyle Kirkwood in the 5, Jackie Ding in the Group A racing 86, and then charging to second by getting by Robinson. Late in the going, Ding here would have trouble with Austin Kazuba in the 34 and Benjamin Pedersen in the always tough turn 2 at Homestead's infield road course. All of this allowing Das to add to his win streak, rolling to victory on the front side, race number 1 of the F4 U.S. Championship's final weekend.
I didn't have a great start off the line. That's completely my fault. But I dropped back to 4th. I knew I would have a pretty big draft down the straightaway, and I just had to methodically work back to the pack. And then once I got up front in front of Conrad, I just needed to put in qualifying laps and break his draft.
When we come back on F4 U.S. Championship today, we'll show you race number 2 from Homestead-Miami Speedway, and we'll take a look at those Pirelli tires. Tires, one of the keys to making any race car go fast. The story coming up. F4 U.S. Championship today is being brought to you by Honda. The F4 United States Championship is powered by Honda and presented by Honda Performance Development. And by SCCA Pro Racing. The F4 United States Championship is accessible, developmental, safe, and fun. For more information, visit F4USChampionship.com. Find out how you can get behind the wheel. Welcome back to F4 U.S. Championship today. I'm Rick Benjamin. No racing series can roll without a terrific tire partner. F4 is extremely fortunate to have one of the worldwide leaders in its corner. We talked to series official Chip Robinson about the importance of Pirelli in the F4 U.S. Championship.
A tire partner for a development series like the US F4 Championship is really critical. We look for a number of things from a tire partner, which of course is, a reliable tire. It's also got to be priced properly, and this tire meets those two criteria really well. I think all the competitors are really happy with the consistency of the tire and how long it lasts and how many heat cycles it goes through, which is really critical. And the cost is reasonable, and it's really done a great job. Pirelli's been fantastic. It really helps our competitors know that they've got a good tire that's going to hold up for multiple heat cycles. And that's just so critical for the young drivers. They need a consistent tire. They don't really need to be battling tires going off at this stage of their career. And this really does that well. Pirelli's on board for next year, and I hope for years to come.
Well, Cameron Das used his Pirelli tires to great effect in winning the first event at Homestead-Miami Speedway, keeping his win streak alive. Let's find out how he did in round number 2 of the championship weekend at Homestead. There was a clean start to race number 2. Cameron Das on pole again, hoping to add to his winning streak. Now it's 6 in a row. Das scoots out to a big lead, with Kazuba and his Indy Dental Group teammate Baltazar Leguizamon, the Argentinian, second and third early on. Trouble for Benjamin Pedersen, the youngster from Washington State, with his growing pains this first year. There'd be contact, the Dirtfish 24 car going up and over. We get another look from onboard Blake Mount's 7 car. Pedersen hoping to make the grid in the season finale.
I saw Ding was on my inside, and then I gave him room. I was halfway on track, and then all of a sudden I got hit, and then, I flipped all the way over out in the grass. Gladly I landed on all 4 wheels again, and I was okay, but fortunately the car isn't really in the best condition right now, so we're trying to get that fixed for the next race.
Pedersen hoping to make the grid for the season finale. When the green flag reappeared, Konrad Čaček was on the charge, moving to 3rd spot behind leader Das. Leguizamon also on the charge, moving by Skylar Robinson's 2 car. A very tough fight for 2nd and for 3rd, and another big group of F4 machines were in the mix fighting for 5th spot. That group including Darren Keane and Moises de Oliveira, Kyle Kirkwood, and Blake Mount. Keane had one of his best outings of the season going, moving up ultimately to join the battle for 2nd, but on the inside, Keane would get in trouble over here in turn 2, losing it, going around, and backing into the inside armco. Late in the half-hour chase, a hard fight for 2nd. Čaček in the black 47 car, challenging Kazuba in the 34. And Kazuba, who held the upper hand here, would have another gearbox issue. That would cost him a shot at the podium. Cameron Das ran uncontested for another victory. Čaček able to hang on for 2nd spot, with Robinson and Leguizamon fighting it out for 3rd. Cameron Das putting the clincher on his F4 U.S. Championship title.
It's the best car we've had all weekend. I was able to, after the first half of the race, once I got out of the draft of the cars behind me, I was able to just pretty much save my tires, run a decent pace, but still save my tires at the same time. So I'm really happy with today's result.
And there's more to come on this edition of F4 U.S. Championship today. Round 3 highlights from Homestead with the season championship on the line. And one of the series' young guns, Kyle Kirkwood, will carry the F4 banner over to England. We'll talk to him about his Team USA experience when we return. F4 U.S. Championship today is being brought to you by SCCA Pro Racing. Bridging the gap from karts to cars has never been easier. Make the affordable transition with Formula 4. Find out more at F4USChampionship.com. And by Replay XD, professional action cameras, the leader since 2005. Welcome back to this edition of F4 U.S. Championship today. SCCA Pro Racing is the sanctioning body for the Formula 4 United States Championship, and the cars are powered by Hondas. Honda Racing, Honda Performance Development, a huge part in getting this new series underway. We talked to key leaders in both groups about the strength of the 2016 season.
Well, honestly, I think it's been a fantastic inaugural season. If you look at the timeline, we actually, when we got the okay to do it, we put a car together and an engine package together in about 6 months, which is pretty amazing. I got to thank our partners, Crawford and Pirelli, for that, and the SCCA working with us on the schedule. We had to move some races, but hey, we got out there. I think we started with maybe 14 the first race. Last race we're down to 16, I believe, and because of a hurricane, there's a few short people, but hey, it turned out great. We have a tremendous amount of momentum going into next season. We'll be delivering like 6 cars at the end of October. So there's a lot of guys that are asking about testing dates, and we're trying to put all that together. So overall, I think it's just fantastic. I do believe we're going to have a really good start to next year, good full field.
If you think about a year ago that this was almost a concept, we didn't have, we had a show car, but everybody was still putting the pieces back together. And you see the kind of racing we've had not only today, but in the entire series this year. It's an unqualified success. The Honda engines, Honda's a terrific partner. They've been around and doing all kinds of racing for many years. They're certainly instrumental in what we're doing. Crawford built a wonderful car from scratch. It is his customer service, what he's done in the paddock this year is really extraordinary. And Pirelli is a great partner as well. I mean, they've serviced everybody, and they are looking to the future just as we are.
One of the primary goals of the F4 United States Championship is to give young drivers an opportunity to learn and advance their careers. 2 of our young stars took a major step recently. Kyle Kirkwood, Conrad Chachik being selected for the Team USA Scholarship, giving them an opportunity to race in England. We talked to Kyle Kirkwood about the chance he received from Team USA manager Jeremy Shaw.
When I got the phone call from Jeremy, it was a feeling you can't describe. I couldn't really say anything. It was almost like, it was just like starstruck pretty much, where it's like, you know that you're going behind all these other drivers like AJ Allmendinger, Brian Herta, people like that, and it's truly an honor to be part of it, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be tough, I know that. Nothing like here in the U.S. The racing's much different, but I've done a lot of karting events over in Europe, and the racing's going to be similar to that because they go from karts into those. So a lot of the same drivers I've driven against in the past. So I think I'll have a little bit of edge compared to most drivers here in the U.S. because of the karting experience that I have. But no, I'm expecting good battles and some really clean racing, or maybe dirty racing. I'm not really sure yet, but it's going to be fun. I can say that.
It's been another strong weekend so far at Homestead for Cameron Doss, the championship leader, winning the first 2 races. Could he make it another weekend sweep? Let's find out as we show you race number 3. For race 3, the season finale, Pedersen's crew did get the job done. The 24 car able to answer the call to start. When the green lights came on, champion Doss was on pole once more, and he jumped out to the lead. But before one lap was complete at Homestead, young Skylar Robinson showed his strength, moving inside the champion to take the lead coming out of turn 8 up onto the backstretch. There were several contenders in the fight for the top spot early on. Cameron Doss under attack here on the front side of Homestead. Conrad Chachik is usually a contender. He would pass Doss on the bottom, while the 62 of Raphael Forcier, who'd lined up 4th, also got by the Dominator on the high side. Forcier has been quick at times in this inaugural season. He got going early and moved up to 2nd. But it wasn't too long before Das found his footing, climbing back into second spot here, and then making the winning move, coming out of the final turn of the banking, to pass on the front straightaway for the top spot. Baltazar Leguizamon, the youngster from Argentina who's shown good speed at times, got into the mix in his Indy Dental Group 45 car. Leguizamon waging a great fight for second with Chachik and Skylar Robinson in the 2. Up front, it was all Das just about all day long. Leguizamon, with one of his best outings of the year, picked up second spot ahead of Robinson and Chachik. Das thrilled to pick up another weekend sweep.
Competition was definitely tough. I mean, those guys weren't going to give me any room. They definitely wanted to give their 100% in the last race as well, so I had a lot of fun. Definitely the best race of the season.
Leguizamon, meantime, ecstatic with a runner-up finish.
It's a very good way to finish the season, you know. Starting very, very bad. We changed the team, find a new car, new people, and that's an amazing way to finish the year. I really can't believe it, so just only say thanks to all the series, all the sponsors series, all my sponsors, all my family, from Argentina, all that's for you. So I'm very, very happy. So thanks, Shaq, Simone, and all your family. And yeah, thank you, team, and we'll go for more the next year.
He celebrated with the Argentine racer's tradition, sipping the podium drink from his driving shoe. The final championship standings: Das is the first ever F4 U.S. champion. Chachik, who missed races on the year's second weekend, finished second, ahead of Kirkwood. Veteran James Goffrey Jr., youngster Skylar Robinson, rounding out the top 5. More to come on F4 U.S. Championship today. Cameron Das is our first ever title holder. We'll let you know how he made it to F4 and what his thoughts are about the future when we return. F4 U.S. Championship today is being brought to you by Honda. The F4 United States Championship is powered by Honda and presented by Honda Performance Development. Welcome back to F4 U.S. Championship today. Most of our drivers in the series are youngsters who have to balance schoolwork and driving the race car. We talked to several of our competitors about how they manage all that.
Eastside Catholic High School.
Secundaria número 2, Domingo Fidel Sarmiento.
Ball State University.
It's a little bit of a balancing act, you know, going from racing, soccer, school, and yeah, having lots of homework. But luckily, racing is typically Friday and then through the weekend, so I'm able to mostly skip one day during a race weekend.
He's playing soccer, he's playing football on his football team at the school, and then he's racing. So he's really busy and he's traveling a lot, but he can manage because he's just so effective when it comes to his schedule.
Yeah, my dad's really on top of me. His rule is if my grades go down, then I'm not allowed to race, so I have to stay on top of things.
We have to go to school in the morning and train in the afternoon, and then I have to come here to the weekend, for the whole weekend in Formula 4, and now on Saturday I have to go again to my house, and Monday to school again, you know, to the high school.
The good thing is there's not a lot of F4 weekends in the year, so it's only about once every month or so. So it's not that big of a chunk of time, especially with school.
Right now, we don't know how far we're going to be able to take this, and so school is the most important thing, so we're going to stay in school. So Davis he just started his first year at Ball State University, and matter of fact, we got to leave early today so we can get back because he's got classes in the morning, so that's the only time we could get out.
We have been looking at colleges, so we're trying to find one that are doing racing, but it's not possible.
So the F4 United States Championship has its first ever title holder, young Cameron Das from suburban Baltimore, Maryland. He didn't just show up at the first race weekend this year and go fast right away. It took him some time to progress through the ranks to get here. We talked to Cameron about that progression that led him to the F4 Championship.
So I started racing about 2 years ago in an indoor karting championship at Homestead-Miami Speedway in Jessup, Maryland. And they're indoor electric karts. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it invigorated this passion in me for racing, because I didn't watch racing, didn't really know that this whole world existed. I knew about NASCAR and I knew IndyCar and Formula 1, but I never watched it or had any interest in it really. And then after I started driving in karts, I had this drive to do it, you know, at a professional level. I didn't think it was possible, but you know, I had the dream to do it. So after karting for a little while in the indoor championship, about 6 months later, I went to Bertelroos Racing School in Palm Beach, Florida, and I did really well. I won a race there. And the owner of the school, Dennis Macchio, then sent me to a Formula 1600 team where I did some testing, did a couple of SCCA majors races, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And then I just sort of tested in a couple different cars to figure out where I wanted to go for my first season of racing. And I decided that I wanted to do this championship, the F4 U.S. championship. But not knowing when exactly it was going to start, we decided to do a few races to just get my feet wet. Since I really had zero racing experience, we decided to do USF 2000 as well. And we did a couple races in that. It was a little difficult, but you know, it gave me the confidence to be around other cars in a racing scenario. And then when the F4 championship started, you know, I was feeling pretty confident, but I wasn't quite there yet with racecraft yet. I had some speed, but I definitely wasn't there yet. So we brought Rafa Matos on board, and he broke a bunch of my personal barriers, and I had a lot more confidence in my driving ability and especially in my racing ability, which is why I think we've done so well this season.
That'll do it for this edition of F4 U.S. Championship today. The season is complete, but we're not done yet. Next time we talk with you, we'll wrap up this 2016 season and look ahead to 2017. There'll be new teams on the grid, one more weekend of racing, 18 events to decide our second champion in the Formula 4 United States Championship powered by Honda. Until then, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching.